Howdy everybody, Mr. Bob here from the North Carolina Zoo, your neighborhood naturalist. Welcome once again. Thank you for letting me spend a little time with you. Once again on this rainy afternoon. Unfortunately, we've had some pretty heavy rain, so we will not be down in the creek today. The creek is up here. It's kind of deep. We've had a little flash flood going on. So instead, today I thought I would share something with you that might save you a little trouble in the long run. I'm all about people getting outdoors and learning about things and studying natural history and getting excited about being out in the woods. But occasionally, when you're outside, you do run into things that cause irritation. And one of those is one we're going to talk about right now. You notice I have with me some PPE. What was that? Personal protective equipment, because this is actually a plant that can cause you an awful lot of irritation if in fact you are susceptible to it. Now, various people have different sensitivities. I generally don't have an awful lot of sensitivity to it myself, but that doesn't mean I don't get a problem. So if you haven't figured it out yet, yes, we're going to talk a little bit about poison ivy. Poison ivy is a nice vine that grows around here. I'll show you what it looks like growing in just a second. It does grow. It can be a vine that grows up a tree. One of the things we've often said about it is even in the wintertime you can get a rash from poison ivy if in fact you're sensitive to it. The vine itself looks like a hairy vine growing up a tree. There's a nifty southern cultural reference to it. There's an old Elvis song called All Shook Up, and there's a line in that song that says, I'm itching like a man on a fuzzy tree. I'm in love. Huh, I'm all shook up. That's what it's all about, so, stick with that. So, this is poison ivy. You've often heard leaves of three, let it be. And this is your lovely leaves of three. If you look right inside here in the middle, you'll often see a reddish type color, and this is what causes the problem. Well, this is the plant that causes the problem. There's a lot of it grows here, some back here as well. This is growing as a vine. It can grow as a bush. It can grow up the tree, as I mentioned earlier. What causes the problem with poison ivy is an oil that's in the plant. It's in the stem of the plant. It's in the leaf of the plant. The oil is called urushiol. And when it gets on your skin, extensively you get a chemical burn. It's an irritation. It does cause the blisters and the itching and things of that sort. Since it is an oil, if you're not terribly sensitive to it, after you've been exposed, you can go inside, you can wash your hands or your arms or your legs. You can wash those off with warm, soapy water, and it'll get it off you. You don't have to worry about it. If you're really sensitive to it, it can start the itching very, very quickly. Now, I'm being real careful not to touch my face because I've been touching the plant. The urushiol itself, the oil, it can get on your shoelaces, it can get on your socks. So even if you clean off your skin and then you touch your shoelaces later, it can still cause some problems. So that's one of the things you want to watch out for. The reaction, it's actually a histamine reaction. It's what causes the blisters and the itching and things. So the treatment for it is often an antihistamine. You can check with your doctor about various things that you can take that'll help relieve the itching. If you do have a problem with it, you can get some topical antihistamine creams and things to put on your skin if you do get the itch. Poison ivy, it's right here. We have it all over Piedmont, North Carolina. One of the things I will show you here very quickly is there are lots of plants that people confuse with poison ivy that are not necessarily harmful at all. This one, as I mentioned, this is poison ivy. Now this one over here, I'll show you, this has 5 leaves. And this is Virginia creeper. This is not poisonous at all. It won't cause you any problems. It's not going to have any sort of a negative reaction. So there are a lot of these. These over here, let's see if I can pull one of these up and show it to you. And this is a ground cover we have around here a lot. If you can see this leaf right here. There we go. I can get it into the camera frame here. These are grapevines. These are muscadine grapes, and we get a lot of this as ground cover. So back in this area, you can see we have poison ivy, Virginia creeper, ground cover. This is a cedar tree right here. So there are lots of different things. There's a hickory over there. Lots of different things. So those are just some of the things, hopefully that'll save you a little bit of trouble when you go outside, that'll actually help you from getting the irritation of poison ivy. Being able to identify it. Again, you may not be able to identify it really well from what I've shown you, but if you go out and learn about it and get somebody who's really experienced, thank you very kindly, to show you a little bit about it, you can avoid a lot of trouble. So that's poison ivy, a little bit about it. Hopefully will go a long way as far as keeping you from having an itch. Now I did mention the PPE. You'll notice I'm going to take these off in the appropriate way to remove our gloves so that I don't get any of the urushiol on my hands. Guys, for the Neighborhood Naturalist in the North Carolina Zoo, I'm Mr. Bob saying stay safe and have a wonderful time learning about natural history. Take care. Bye now.